Well, need to sell your house fast? Leave it in the hands of My Tennessee Home Solution. They purchase homes for cash, so you don't have to worry about making repairs.
Yes, it's great and a total game changer. It cuts down the hassle of selling a home. Today we're here with CEO Charles and home buying specialist Brandon. Welcome back, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So happy to have you here because there are so many different ways to sell your house. What makes you different?
Yeah, there really are, especially with how much information that people can get online. But really what it comes down to that we've seen is we're local, we're here. We know the neighborhoods, we know what people are talking about when they're talking about certain streets or locations, and we're also a veteran-owned company. And so I think a lot of people resonate with what our values are and what we stand for. And honestly, too, because we do live here, I don't ever want to have to duck someone in a grocery store.
Good point.
And I think really, too, what it always boils down to is just taking a people-first approach. And many times the relationships that we do make with a lot of the homeowners that reach out to us, it goes beyond the transaction at the closing table.
Absolutely. No, I agree because, we, don't want to have to, to try to avoid someone because they felt like we did them wrong, but it's also, we want to make sure that we're truly considering the situation, the reason why they reached out, and a lot of times it goes, well beyond just the, a transaction. They're doing so much more than just trying to sell a home. There's a lot of emotion that oftentimes comes with when they reach out to our company.
Definitely.
Why do people reach out and try to sell their house off market instead of like in the traditional way?
Yeah, and just kind of to what I was just speaking to, it ultimately is, they're looking for a more convenient solution, something that is going to address the concerns that they have, on a more emotional side, oftentimes, think about a divorce or think about a scenario where someone could potentially, lose their home to a foreclosure or an inherited property, for example. These are all scenarios where, people have reached out to us and they've already tried other things, they've already tried other solutions, and listing the home on the market, the uncertainty of how long it might be listed, the challenges of having to do repairs if that becomes a request from a buyer. These are all things that they can avoid by reaching out to us, and we tailor that solution to them.
Especially like some clients that you've worked with who are, military members who need to, move for a deployment or things like that very quickly.
Right.
Question, you talked about scenarios. What should people watch out for when working with a home buying company?
Absolutely, and it's something that, knowing that it is somewhat unregulated and whatnot. And so I would say key things is just a digital online presence. What do other people say? Trying to get referrals from past clients especially. Typically, too, is just making sure that there's proof of funds, and also to get another set of eyes. Make sure that you're not putting yourself in a position to where it may feel one-sided or that you don't have representation for your best interest. So those are a lot of things. And then I think another common one would just be that many times people do need to think on things and just make sure this is a huge decision.
Yeah.
And we don't take it lightly by any means. And so having that space to be able to truly make sure that I'm making the decision to sell my home and to move on to the next chapter, and that this is the right thing for me to do.
Well, we touched on your veteran-owned, which of course we love. Tell us a little bit more about the history of the company, though.
Yeah, absolutely. So in 2020 is when the company first started. My business partner and I, we both went to West Point, and then we were both stationed at Fort Campbell. I did a deployment in 2019, came back, decided that I wanted to kind of close that chapter of my life, and so did he. And so we decided just to plant roots here, Middle Tennessee, and take a lot of those values and what we did and learned in the military, and then apply it to still have an impact just on our local community.
Wow, well, thank you so much for your service.
Thank you.
We do appreciate you, America's heroes, okay? Okay, question. So how does the process work? Let's say someone is watching right now and they're like, okay, I need to sell my house quickly. What's the next step?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, so they can reach out to us online, visit our website, and they can fill out just a quick, questionnaire, and it'll give us that information. They can also just give us a call. And once they reach us, we'll have, a 15-minute conversation usually, which allows us to just learn a little bit more, not just about their property, but also about their situation. And then from there, we'll set up a time for one of our home buying specialists to come out, see their home, and meet with them, continue that conversation in person, and learn a little bit more about ultimately what is going to be the solution for them. And then we put it together, and if we can come to an agreement, we'll get the ball rolling.
Very good.
Very simple.
So easy.
Thank
Thank
you.
you guys.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Everyone home, get a cash offer on your home no matter what condition it's in. Check them out online at mytennesseehomesolution.com.